I need you to just accept this, Joe. You didn't nickname them?
I wasn't thinking about it.
What's even the point of playing? Why don't you accept me for who I am? Welcome back, everyone, to the first battle in the Scrabbattling series. We are here once again with Joe, the man, the myth, the legend himself, my co-commentator for my first 2 seasons of the TBL draft stream, as well as a good friend of mine who, as you heard in the last video when we revealed all of our letters and picked all of our Pokemon, is also a longtime friend of mine who helped me design this entire format of battling. Joe, would you like to say hi to the people?
How you doing, people?
So, the way this works, as I kind of explained before, but I'll go over one more time in case people are confused. As soon as I hit let the battle begin, we are going to jump into team preview. At that moment, both of our teams are locked in, all 7 Mons. We've both picked 6 of the 7 to bring to this battle. After this battle, we will have a chance in between to go back through and switch out which of the 7 Mons we're bringing, if we so choose. No sets can change, no items can change, nothing. Just the Mons themselves, which we have each prepared 1 Mon for each of the 7 Mons that we are allowed to bring. For reference, both teams are on the screen down below if you want to look at them, but for anyone who wants to hear it, my team is Landorus, Therian, Yanmega, Magearna, Azelf, Jolteon, Incineroar, and Exploud. And Joe's team is Espeon, Registeel, Xurkitree, Como-O, Venusaur, Tornadus Therian, and Weavile. So I'm going to jump in unless you have anything else you want to say, Joe.
Let's get ready to battle.
So here's the situation, guys. I hate to do this. Legitimately hate to do this. I guess I'll put it on this screen. Joe and I just recorded our entire series, and it turns out that I was an idiot, and my computer had done a refresh, and I had been working with my headphones and not accidentally, but intentionally at the time, set those to the default playing sound device. The audio itself was playing out of my main speakers, but XSplit was saying, okay, well, your default thing's your headphones, so I'm going to take the other route to your audio, and it didn't record any of my actual audio for Joe on my computer. So there's a lot of footage in which you cannot hear Joe, because the only way it picked up Joe was actually what it was echoing in the microphone that was picking up from the speakers of Joe. None of the actual audio from Joe was recorded. So, I've got Joe back on the line. Say hello to the people, Joe.
Hello, people.
And now you guys should be able to hear him just fine. And we are going to, I'm going to screen share with him momentarily. We are going to watch these battles back and talk about them as they go. And that's how we're going to have to do this. Unfortunately, it's like the first episode of the series, and I already have a major issue that is completely unresolvable in any other way. I've shown you guys some clips. You guys would have watched the beginning when I explained everything, and you could tell that you couldn't hear Joe during that. That's why I'm doing this, because it doesn't get better throughout that series. Are you ready, Joe? But now Joe can see what you guys can see right now, which is the versus recorder. And we're just going to watch back the battles one by one, and I'll upload them one by one as expected. And I'll re-watch the footage and anything interesting or fun that's from the first time that you can hear. I'll try to bring it back if I possibly can, if I can salvage anything. But from what I was watching as I was editing, it just wasn't going to work. So, are you ready, Joe?
I am ready.
This is the first thing that Joe and I would have seen. I've lost game footage before, and having the post-battle recording at least gives me an option to do this, you know? If I didn't save the battle video, I didn't even have an option to do this. So this is so much better than, having to, re-record the entire series, which would suck.
That would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, so this is what Joe and I saw when we first started our first match. And we had these 6 Mons that we had chosen of our teams. So I brought Azelf, Landorus, Jolteon, Magearna, Exploud, and Incineroar. And Joe brought Tornadus, Therian, Como O, Espeon, Weavile, Xurkitree, and Registeel. So, what were you thinking of team preview, Joe? Real quick.
I was just thinking Weavile's nothing to sneasel at. But I was looking at your team, and you had brought everything that I thought you were going to bring on your first go-around. I did not think you were going to bring Yanmega, because it didn't really suit how it was going to go up against my team, even though I have, Espeon weak to Bug, Weavile weak to Bug, and Venusaur weak to Flying. I thought I had enough. Oh, and Como weak to Flying. I thought I had enough to back it up in order to just deter you from actually bringing it. So I was actually pretty spot on with my first prediction. It's hard to miss, 6 out of 7 Pokemon.
Yeah, it's only one mon.
I was pretty okay with how I was doing.
All right, well, we're gonna jump right into this battle. So, right off the bat, I'm gonna lead with my Azelf as Joe leads Torrentee, and so at this point, I asked Joe, and I think I kept a little bit of this in the video, but I asked Joe to nickname every single Pokemon on his team because he forgot to do it before. So, as we go through, I will once again ask Joe to nickname them, and I will pop them up on screen as they're doing it. So, Joe, what was your Tornadus' nickname?
Sky Guy. My Tornadus was named Sky Guy after the longtime follower of your Twitch, X Sky Guy, XX numbers.
Yes, so Sky Guy leads off, immediately switches to Espeon. Espeon immediately takes a knockoff and gets critted and dies. Doesn't do very much here. I was pretty happy about that turn, honestly. I was like, okay, I took a lot of damage on his elf, which was not ideal, but I was up him on turn 1.
I figured you would switch on this, and I went in on another U-turn, and I was very excited that I was able to get a nice, easy switch in on Lando T. That was one of my biggest worries about the team, considering I am using Registeel as my MVP of the match.
Yeah, so I do have a little bit of trouble breaking a Registeel with this team if you look at the rest of it besides Landorus. So at this point I'm rocking out Yachi. I actually at the time was trying to bluff Scarf to Joe, so I was like, I'm just gonna U-turn here off you with my Scarf Landorus. He didn't fall for it, and then I immediately healed Yachi and died immediately to an Icicle Crash because I calced it with the Weavile being intimidated. I live in Icicle Crash, but he wasn't intimidated because of the way he switched in. So bye bye Landorus.
Yeah.
But I got Magearna in, and that brings in the Registeel, which I sort of predicted. I figured Orsphere was safe either way.
It was also at this point that I had forgotten to name my Weavile.
Oh yes,
and I named
Espeon
it Chopper.
as well.
Oh, I did name Espeon. Espeon was named Mirror, and Weavile was Chopper. And then Registeel, we had the my first go around. I named it Roly Poly Oly, but then I was like, no, it doesn't fit. So we're gonna eliminate all vowels. Roll.
So we got Mirror, we've got Chopper, we've got Sky Guy, we got roll. And it was at this point in the match that I realized that I had actually forgotten to put rocks on either Azelf or Landorus. And I regretted it significantly because, I mean, anytime a Torrentee is around, you just want to have rocks up because just negating Regenerator is huge. Even if you don't get extra chip on it, really, it still just slows it down. Limited switch-ins. Not to mention 25% to Weavile, 25% to Torrentee, and any percentage to the other Pokemon, which throughout this match and the rest of the series, you guys will see chip matters. So I learned to regret my actions. I will never not have Stealth Rocks ever again. I like picked up 2 mons and I was like, oh, they have rocks, like I'll be okay. And then so this is where Joe absolutely just played around me. Joe, talk about how you just danced around me right here.
I loved this sequence. You had no idea I was going to willingly switch in Como on your Azelf and went for the knockoff back into Registeel. Like I said before, I was treating Registeel like the the MVP of my match for the entire game because it's one of my only walls on my team. It's that and Venusaur really. I have a little bit of a bulk in Como just because of its typing, and it's got pretty okay defenses. But Registeel is really like the glue of my team. I could switch it in willingly on just about everything. So I kept switching in and out, stalling as much as I could. On this play, I wanted to get the readout on Exploud. I had a feeling that it was either Spect or Scarfed. And so I'm just going about it like it's Spect because Exploud does really well with the spec on it. And I'd actually specifically prepped Como for Exploud because it was soundproof. Obviously Robert's using Fire Blast, but I was really, really hoping that he would, if he was Expert Belt instead of Choice Specs, that when he switched back in, or when he went for another attack, he used Boom Burst, because that would have made me really happy.
Once I realized your Registeel had Protect, I was so upset about it. Because I was like, scouting is so frustrating. I was Specs, but if I was E-Belt, I would have gone for Ice Beam there, not...
Oh, fair.
Which I had Ice Beam, but I couldn't click it on your Registeel.
Right.
So I had to go for the Fire Blast. I was worried about Soundproof, like I was trying to avoid it, but at some point I was like, you know what, like I can't click Ice Beam on a Registeel. I have to click Fire Blast. And so,
no button for you.
So at this point, my Chople actually allowed me to take 25%, and I was just under 50%, so I was like, maybe it's a roll. I wasn't calcing things. Neither of us were really calcing during the battles. And so I wasn't calcing, so I looked at it, and I was like, maybe I could take it. I couldn't take it. So Incineroar's down, Azel's down, and it's looking real bad for me at this point, because Registeel is still just sitting at like 50%. And I have no answer to it. So I decided to pop off my Z move. I was like, you know what? I brought Therium Z instead of Phytinium Z, mostly because, I don't know, it hit everything except for Registeel and Venusaur, which, in retrospect, if I'm using a wall breaker, should hit the walls, but, whatever. Electrium Z, honestly, probably would have been my best bet.
Like a champ.
But Registeel just eats that. And at this point, Joe is just sitting in like a dominating position. And while we talked about during the battle, I didn't think I was dead yet. I didn't think I had lost yet. But if I was like one misprediction from losing at this point.
I'm sitting there, I'm treating Registeel like it's, my first child. But I know that Robert could potentially pull something out of nowhere and just take the game. Because he's going to pull out some random move set that I'm just going to not have thought about because I don't have as much competitive battle experience as Robert does, so I never count him out for the end of the game.
And as you're going to see here, a little bit of Life Orb chip, a little bit of Aura Sphere chip, and the Volt Switch is able to actually just straight take out the Tornadus with a crit. So...
oh, that was a crit? I didn't notice that.
Apparently it was a crit. I don't remember that from the battle, but it said crit right now, so... I was able to take out the Tornadus there, which was nice, but I mean, it didn't really save me at this point because of the fact that Magearna had taken all that damage. I really needed it to be healthy.
Meanwhile, you switched in this Jolteon, and I'm sitting there like, you brought a Quick Feet Jolteon when I had a Xurkitree? I was going nuts. Strangest thing I'd ever seen.
I wanted to outspeed Choice Scarf Weavile and Choice Scarf Torn. Those were both huge threats. The other thing was I was like, is he gonna run Electrium Z, Electric Terrain Xurkitree, or Z Hypnosis, Psychium Z Hypnosis Xurkitree to get the +1 speed? And at that point, I wanted to be able to outspeed it. So
neither of those crossed my mind.
Well, because I did the stupidest thing, and Joe asked and said, "Are Omni boosting moves allowed?" And I said, "Okay."
This is after I had drawn a K.
Yeah, he asked that after he picked up a K, but before, admittedly, he had chosen Como. And then he did, and I was like, oh, shoot. So for the rest of forever, Omni boosting Z moves are banned in this format. It is OU, but there are no Omni boosting Z moves.
Additionally, the first time you brought in xCloud, before I said anything else, said, aye, Captain. And I feel like that needs to be
because of the nickname, so, yeah. Dude, my nicknames were great. You haven't said Como-O's name yet, I don't believe.
Como-O was Clobster, spelled Clawbster. Clobster.
So at this point, I actually was like, do I make the read and switch out? But honestly, it was too little too late anyway, and I actually figured I'd just get the information about soundproof. I was kind of conceding game one at that point. I figured, you know, we're kind of at the point where I don't think I can pull it back out at this point. So let's just see how much information Joe's going to give me. Does he pop off with a Z move right here? Like, what does he go with? Since I hadn't seen it, I was still trying to scout what he was going to do. I figured he was going to be playing her Soul Blaze. Like, I kind of just knew. But I also was like, maybe he's not?
Fun fact, Como-O does learn Ice Punch.
I was scared of Ice Punch. Not gonna lie, I was real scared of Ice Punch. I think I calced against Ice Punch, but then I forgot if he learned it in the actual battle. But at this point, you're just going to see, as per the Goldo Dragon special, getting bodied by Como-O. It is the bane of my draft playing existence. It is the bane of my, like, apparently Scrabbattling existence. So
it really was.
So game one goes to Joe. So great game to Joe. He does take game one. But we will return tomorrow with game two. Once again, it'll be post-narrated, so hopefully you guys are okay with this format. I swear it's just for this week, and I will show you guys as much of the live battle as I possibly can if I can salvage any of the footage there. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys back here. Joe takes that early 1-0 lead, but tomorrow we will see if I can't answer the call and the gauntlet that he has thrown down.
Ring, ring, hello, this is Joe. You just got beat.